Why do some people reach their goals while others quit a few days in? It's rarely luck, talent, or some magical surge of motivation. Most of the time, the difference is perseverance, the ability to show up consistently, even when you don't feel like it, even when life is loud, and even when progress is invisible. And let's be honest, staying consistent is hard. That's why it has to be trained. Not on your best days, on your most ordinary days, and especially on the days you'd rather skip. If you're tired of starting over, this is for you. Because your goals don't need more hype, they need follow-through. Real change is built by steady actions repeated long enough to reshape who you are. Not dramatic breakthroughs, not perfect plans, just daily commitment that doesn't depend on mood. A lot of people begin with excitement. They set a goal, they feel a rush, they promise themselves, this time is different. And then life pushes back. A cold morning, a stressful day, a distraction, a setback. Suddenly the goal feels heavier than it did on day one, and the mind starts negotiating. Tomorrow, next week, when things calm down. That pattern isn't a character flaw, it's a system problem. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they never build a structure that survives real life. Here's what changes everything. Consistency creates self-trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, you're telling your brain, I can rely on me. That's not motivational talk, that's identity building. And once you trust yourself, you stop waiting for encouragement. You stop depending on the perfect mood. You stop needing someone to push you. You become the push. Look at the people who achieve real things: athletes, artists, builders, entrepreneurs, creators. Do you think they wake up every day overflowing with passion? Of course not. They have bad days. They get bored. They feel doubt. They feel tired. The difference is they still show up. They still practice. They still train. They still do the work when no one is watching and no one is applauding, because they understand a simple truth. Repetition creates results. At first, consistency feels unrewarding. You do the right thing and nothing seems to change. But progress doesn't always announce itself. It accumulates, it compounds, it stacks in silence. Like pushing a snowball at the top of a hill. It looks small in the beginning, but every push matters. And one day you look back and realize the person who used to quit doesn't live here anymore. Not because you made one heroic decision, but because you made 100 ordinary ones. Consistency is not a gift, it's a skill. And skills are built through practice. That means you don't have to start big. In fact, starting big is often why people quit. Start small, so small you can't realistically fail. 5 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of walking, 1 page, 1 paragraph, 1 push-up, 1 focused session. You're not doing it to impress anyone. You're doing it to teach your brain what kind of person you are becoming. And don't confuse consistency with perfection. You will miss a day sometimes. You will slip. You will have weeks that feel messy. The difference isn't whether you fall, it's how quickly you return. The real rule isn't, I never miss. The rule is, I don't disappear. Missing once isn't the problem. Letting it turn into a pattern is the problem. Come back fast. Come back calmly. Come back without drama. That's maturity. That's discipline. That's how progress survives. Now let's talk about why people procrastinate. Because procrastination isn't just laziness. It's often a response to fear, uncertainty, or overwhelm. When something feels too big, too risky, or too unclear, your brain looks for relief. It reaches for easy dopamine, scrolling, snacks, distractions, tiny tasks that feel productive but don't move your life forward. The solution isn't self-hate. The solution is reducing resistance. Don't focus on finishing the whole task. Focus on starting the first 5 minutes. Tell yourself, I only have to do this for 5 minutes. That's it. Most of the time, once you begin, momentum shows up. And that's the real secret. Motivation often follows action, not the other way around. Waiting to feel motivated is how people stay stuck. Acting while you feel neutral is how people get free. Another trap is perfectionism, the belief that you should start only when you're fully ready, fully confident, fully prepared, and guaranteed to do it well. But perfectionism is often fear dressed as standards. It sounds responsible, but it keeps you inactive. Nothing excellent arrives perfect on the first try. Progress comes from starting messy and improving through repetition. Done is better than perfect when perfect never gets done. If you want to make procrastination weaker, create clarity. Vague goals create vague effort. Don't say, "I'll work on my project." Say, "I will work for 30 minutes at 8 p.m." Don't say, "I'll get in shape." Say, "I will walk for 20 minutes after breakfast." Specificity removes negotiation. It gives your mind a simple instruction instead of an endless debate. Then, take control of your environment. Turn off notifications, close extra tabs, clean your workspace, put your phone out of reach during your work block. Your environment is either helping you or fighting you. If you rely on willpower alone in a distraction-heavy space, you'll lose more often than you win. Make the right action easier. Make the wrong action harder. Accountability helps too. Tell someone what you're doing. Set a check-in. Track your progress. A simple calendar streak can be powerful because it turns your effort into something visible. And when you can see your consistency, you're less likely to break it. But here's the deeper truth. The real engine of long-term success is self-discipline. Discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. It's what happens when your decisions are guided by your values instead of your emotions. When you can control your actions, you stop being controlled by impulse, distraction, or delay. Discipline begins with small wins. Make your bed. Drink water. Get up when the alarm goes off. Do the small, hard thing before the easy, comfortable thing. These actions seem trivial, but they build a signal. I follow through. And that signal turns into self-trust. And self-trust turns into momentum. And momentum turns into results. You don't become disciplined because you always feel like doing the work. You become disciplined because you decide in advance that you will do it. You act before emotions have a chance to vote. You commit to a schedule, a system, a rhythm, not a feeling. That brings us to one of the most important ideas. Don't build your life on willpower, build it on systems. Willpower gets you started, systems keep you going. A system turns "I should" into "this is what I do." It removes daily decision fatigue. A creator who writes at the same time every day will produce more than someone who waits for inspiration. A person who trains on a consistent schedule will progress more than someone who trains only when motivated. Systems create stability. Stability creates growth. Start with one system, one habit, one daily anchor, then build from there. Attach your new habit to an existing one. After coffee, write. After brushing teeth, stretch. After lunch, walk. Make it automatic. Track it. Protect it. Build backup plans for predictable obstacles so one bad day doesn't become a broken rhythm. Now let's talk about why people stop. Resistance. The quiet voice that shows up right when you try to change. Do it later. You're tired. You can skip today. One day won't matter. Resistance isn't proof you're doing something wrong. It's proof you're doing something meaningful. It shows up when growth is close because growth requires you to become someone new. Resistance doesn't disappear, but it can be outplayed. You outplay it with clarity, small starts, and action. Resistance is strongest before you begin. The moment you take a step, it weakens. Your job isn't to feel fearless. Your job is to move anyway. And when you feel like quitting, and you will, don't make big decisions while tired. Don't turn a hard day into a permanent conclusion. Instead, return to the smallest possible action that keeps your identity intact. 5 minutes, 1 page, 1 set, 1 message, 1 step. You don't have to win the day. You just have to stay in the game. Because quitting is a habit, but continuing is also a habit. And every time you continue, you break the old pattern. You rebuild trust. You build resilience. You become someone who follows through. Not with grand speeches, with quiet consistency. One of the biggest turning points in anyone's life is the moment they stop blaming. Not because bad things don't happen, but because blame keeps you powerless. Responsibility gives you control. You may not control everything around you, but you can control your response, your choices, your effort, your standards, and your next step. That's enough to change your entire trajectory. And if you want to reach mastery in anything, the path is almost always the same: deliberate repetition. Mastery isn't a gift, it's what happens when you repeat the right thing long enough to become instinct. The people who win aren't always the ones who start with an advantage. They're often the ones who keep repeating when others get bored, discouraged, or distracted. Real confidence isn't loud. It's built from proof, from doing the thing so many times that doubt has less room to speak. This is why small steps matter. Small steps reduce resistance. They beat procrastination. They create momentum. They give you daily proof, and daily proof becomes belief. You don't need to change your whole life today. You need to do one right thing today. Then do another right thing tomorrow. Then again. That's how the future is built. Your environment matters too. If your space is cluttered, your focus will fight an uphill battle. If your digital world is filled with noise, your mind will feel noisy. If the people around you normalize quitting, it becomes easier to justify. So change what you can. Clean your desk. Put the book in sight. Remove the junk from the kitchen. Turn off the notifications. Unfollow what drains you. Choose inputs that strengthen you. You don't need another motivational video to save you. You don't need the perfect plan. You don't need to wait for confidence to arrive first. If you've listened this far, it means something in you wants to change, and that desire is enough to begin. Start today. Not perfectly, not massively, just intentionally. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Write one paragraph. Walk for 10 minutes. Turn off one distraction. Keep one promise. Take one step. Because you don't fail when things get hard. You fail when you stop returning. And every time you return, even quietly, you rewrite who you are. You prove you are becoming consistent. You prove you are capable. You prove you don't quit on yourself. Every moment is a chance to begin again. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now.